Welcome to Jackson Digital Assets and Investments, where it is our goal to help you on your journey to finding financial freedom through providing you with unique and exciting opportunities in the decentralized finance crypto space. So today I will be briefly covering a new project called Powercity. Better tools for a better tomorrow. A better blockchain. Cheaper onboarding. Multi-chain DeFi. Leveraging your crypto. Pulsechain adoption, exploring the Metaverse, bridging blockchains, developers and Dapps, compounding yields, utilizing NFTs, building virtual communities, censorship free crypto, financial independence, and lastly, simplifying DeFi. Now, this is a very lengthy mission statement on what Powercity has to accomplish, but it's helped us to understand that this project is best understood as an ecosystem of Dapps built on top of Pulsechain that will work together in a synergistic way, benefiting the Powercity community and ultimately Pulsechain as a whole. So let's begin by looking at an infographic of the Powercity layout. And you can readily see the current structure of the Powercity ecosystem, in which we will cover each briefly. Since this is a DeFi project that's quite complex, I'll be setting aside a playlist to cover this project in greater detail in the future, due to the fact that the project is still under construction and changes may be made. But today I want to give you just a brief overview of the basics of Powercity, of what is Powercity. So let's go back to the infographic and let's look at the core of Powercity, which is referred to as the Powercity core. So as you can see from this infographic, at the very center and heart of Powercity, it's called the core. So let's scroll down here on their website page, which can be found at powercity.io. So what is Powercity? It's the kind of ecosystem you've been waiting for, all on one chain and interconnected. And this infographic, this little image here, kind of gives a visual representation of how Powercity is all interconnected. Different parts, but all connected. So what is the Powercity core? So the thing about Powercity core is, if you are familiar with Olympus DAO, basically the core is just like Olympus DAO. Where they have the Watts token, the Watt token, WATT. So Powercity Core is where you can stake rebasing tokens to share revenue from all of the Dapps that will be launched in the ecosystem. Yield earned by the treasury will be used to buy back and burn tokens. Other features will include protocol-owned liquidity, bonds as a service, third-party KYC, third-party audit, time-locked team allocations, and multi-sig security. So let's go over here to the light paper. I want to look at a few things here about the Powercity core, and also the team has had a third-party KYC, and you can look at the medium. I'll leave a link to it in my description section, but they have been KYC verified by Assured DeFi. So I'll leave a link to that in my description section, and you can feel free to read that for yourselves. So if we go back to Powercity, we're looking at the core. And as I said, one of the key features of the core is that we have to lock up or stake our Watt token, and we can be partakers of the fees that are generated from the treasury. And these are called rebasing tokens. And let me scroll down here on the white paper here and look at this little section right here, where it says initial bonds will include liquidity pool shares for its native token, which is the Watt token, and the transformer bridge token. I'm really not for sure what that token will be called, but it will allow the protocol to control and earn free fees from the ecosystem's liquidity. Okay, so those first set of fees will come from the native token and the transformer bridge token liquidity pool. Okay, so that's how we will earn from those two sources to start with. But later, it says that they will also bond with stable coins, PLS, and other crypto the treasury can employ to earn yield. So this is how we will earn from the Powercity core, is from yield earning from these particular bonds. And it also says bonds would change over time as the needs of the treasury change. And the other thing I like about the Powercity core, it also says that it will be generating yield through its investments, and also not only will we receive those fees or from the treasury, but there'll also be a buyback and burn tokens. So that's a good thing too. So it's also deflationary in its nature. So let's go back to our home page of Powercity. And the sacrifice is still ongoing, so I just want to let you know. And also, their sacrifice will continue until Pulsechain launches. So I want to give you an idea. Also, let's go to hex pulse.info to give you a little idea of where Powercity is as far as their sacrifices is concerned. If we go to their page here on hexpulse.info, we can readily see the total sacrificed amount, and so that's quite a bit of money. Is that's 2,958,754. So basically, right at $3 million in 2,290 wallets. So this project is getting a tremendous amount of support from the community. And let's also look at the sacrifice page, sacrificenow.io. And as you can see, the sacrifice is still going on. And if you're new to sacrificing and you don't know exactly what it is, then you can go down here and read this section, and also click on the more button right here, and that'll give you some more information if you don't understand exactly how sacrifices work. And as I said earlier, the Powercity has successfully been KYC'd by Assure, and so you can read into that also if you want to get some more information on their KYC process. So let's scroll on down here and look at the sacrifice. And as of right now, we are well past the stages over that where you could get like a 2-to-1 ratio, or 1.75 to 1, 1.5 to 1, 1.25 to 1. So we are well past that stage. So we're not in the bonus, the volume bonus stages anymore. So right now, as of 3/23/22, the ratio went from 1 to 1. So for every $1 you sacrifice, you get one sacrifice point. But there is some good news though. So if you have, let's go down here to recognition for prior sacrifices. So it says, in honor of those who participated in prior sacrifice events showing great team spirit and collaboration, including MCR, MTR, I think that's Magic Carpet, I think something like that, and Legion VC pools, you'll be eligible. And if you also go down here to Pulsechain, if you sacrifice the Pulsechain, you'll receive a 15.25% on your sacrifice. If you sacrifice the Pulse X, is 15.25, liquid loans 12.5, and internet money is 12.5%. So this is a tremendous bonus. If you sacrifice to these other projects, you can receive quite a bit of a bonus. And then you can look through these examples here, and example 1 is basically if you contributed to all of these sacrifices up here, and you can see readily it's a 55.5% bonus. So you get a tremendous bonus if you have sacrificed to these other projects prior to this one. So there's something to look in. You can look at example 1, 2, and 3 and work through that. And another thing that I like to point out too is sacrifices are recognized from the following blockchains: so Ethereum, Avalanche, Phantom Opera, and BNB Smart Chain. So you want to be aware of that too. And they also have a chart here of the different chains that you can sacrifice from, and the tokens. So please be aware of this page right here, and make sure that the token that you are going to sacrifice, make sure that it's on this page before you do it, because it's going to only cause the team trouble to try to find your sacrifice if they do that. So just make sure on that. Then they also have another bonuses. So I mean, there's tremendous amount of bonuses available with Powercity. I like the community bonuses too. So the community bonus is based on milestones by Powercity. So each milestone, as you can see right here, milestone 1 is that they had to get a total of $100,000 in sacrifices, and once they done that, 4 random wallets got a 20% bonus. So that's totally amazing. So if you come down here where we at right now, I would say we're probably coming up on number 12. So once we reach that 3 million sacrifice dollar amount, then 80 random wallets will get a 35% bonus. So this is one benefit of the ongoing sacrifice for Powercity, is that we can continually be eligible to receive these bonuses. Like at each time we get $250,000 more, like at 13. So it's basically on every $250,000. Then 80 random wallets will get 35%. That's how that will go until it launches. And you can also watch this video, and make sure you get the sacrifice address from the website at sacrifice.now.io. Do not listen to any direct messages from some scammer. If they try to give you some sacrifice address, always go to the web page, and you can see down here the website, Telegram, Discord, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. So right here, I also encourage you to join the Telegram. I'll leave the links in the description section below, and you can also join their Twitter page here, so you can make sure that you're always getting information that's official from the official site Powercity, and not some scammer. So let's go back to the Powercity main page, and let's look at the infographic again. And the next thing we want to look at is the transformer bridge. So what is the transformer bridge? So if you're familiar with things like different bridges like the HOP protocol, if you're familiar with Rubik, these are different bridges, and so Powercity will have their own bridge that will be a cross-chain swap connecting Pulsechain, Avalanche, Phantom, and while you get to avoid all the gas fees from Ethereum. So it's basically to reduce the friction for fiat on and off ramping, and the swap between tokens on multiple blockchains in a single transaction. So we look forward to that, the transformer bridge. So let's go back to the infograph, and we want to also look at the Pixel Park NFT marketplace. So the Pixel Park is an NFT marketplace that will exist exclusively on Pulsechain, that allows users to create, purchase, stake, and trade NFTs. So this will be a very important part or role in Powercity protocols, as well as the Metaverse play to earn ecosystem. So if you are familiar with sites like OpenSea or Looks Rare, then this will be like their version here on Powercity, an NFT marketplace. And we know that there are a lot of people that invest in NFTs, that are interested in NFTs. So we want to provide a place for them over on Pulsechain, and that will be Pixel Park NFT Marketplace. And just a side note, I just want to also make mention that according to one of the team members on Powercity, they are actually in phase 1 right now, and they're only working on 3 parts of the ecosystem. They're working on the Powercity core, which we just went over, the Transformer Bridge, and Pixel Park NFT Marketplace. So these are the 3 areas that they are working on right now, and they consider this phase 1. And in phase 2, they will be working on the amplifier, the accelerator, and flex. So let's go back to the infograph, and the next area we want to look at is the NRG nodes. So what is the NRG node? So basically, Powercity is nodes as a service, and DeFi as a service hybrid protocol will sell node access to developers that require access to the blockchain data to build their own new dApps. So I really believe this is a very good part of the ecosystem of Powercity, because we want people to come to the chain to build. And but what better way than to provide nodes as a service? And keep in mind that all these things that are part of the ecosystem is going to benefit the Powercity community, and as a whole, Pulsechain as a whole. So keep that in mind. So let's go back to the infographic again. Let's look at the next thing we want to look at is the accelerator. So basically, the accelerator will increase yield in DeFi by automatically claiming and redeploying earned tokens for increased rewards. A custom front end to the liquid loans lending protocol will automate various strategies to compound staking yield and accumulate more PLS. So this is one really powerful thing I like about what Powercity is doing, is that they're going to make a user basically a front end to liquid loans. And if you're not familiar with liquid loans, it's a very I think this is a critical part of Pulsechain. It's basically a lending and borrowing platform. A very important to me project that will launch on Pulsechain when they launch. And one of the and there are a few members that's a part of liquid loans that have come up with different strategies. And one in particular is this guy right here. They call him Haunted, and he has a Yaya. He's the ambassador and admin support, and he has probably one of the more popular known strategies called the Haunted strategy. And like I say, in the future, when I cover liquid loans, I'm going to give a lot of space to cover liquid loans. And I go into all these different strategies in detail because they are complex. But the Haunted strategy is probably one of the more popular ones. And basically, his strategy focuses on buy pressure. And with this strategy, there will be a lot of buy pressure to buy PLS, continually increasing the price by that buy pressure. But it's a very complex strategy. But we can go over here, and one of the things I like about his strategy is the collateralized ratio, which is at 1,000%. So that you really don't run. Anything is risky, but you don't run that much of a risk if you 1,000% collateralized. So with his strategy, it's basically buy pressure, and I'll go into it more. But it's basically where you lock up your PLS in the vault, then you get minted USDL. You go to PulseX, buy more Pulse, come back to the liquid loan platform, lock it in your vault, and you just kind of continue this process based on different parameters. But I'll go into that in much more detail in the future. But let's go back to liquid loans here. This particular lady right here, April Hoodpro, she also has a strategy that's pretty popular, and also Hexacat has a strategy that's pretty popular. So I'm pretty sure there's more people on the team that has strategies, but the important thing is to really understand liquid loans first of all, and then once you get a real clear understanding how it works, then you can develop your own strategy. But I'll cover those in the future. Okay, so let's go back to our infograph and to the main website at powercity.io. And so the next thing we want to look at is the Powercity meta. And this is basically that will provide VR access to our entire ecosystem. And if you know anything about Meta, you know that Facebook changed their name to Meta. So everything is kind of technology is going towards the Metaverse and different technologies. If you're familiar with like the VR headsets, like the Oculus Rift, Oculus Quest, so that is where technology is going, is into the Metaverse. And so the thing I like about Powercity is that they have put a lot of forethought, innovation in developing their project. And so And with this project Powercity Meta, it says that you'll also be able to share digital meeting spaces, to hang out with friends, attend live concerts, experience education in a whole new way, and conduct real world business. Store custom avatars and NFTs in the Powercity Meta asset portfolio. So this is another part that I really like about Powercity, is that they innovative and they stand up to date with technology, and they also are looking forward, and they're forward looking into the future. And the last project, if we go back to the infograph, is the amplifier, which deals a lot with liquidity pools and things of that nature. But I'll get more information, like I say, in the future on Powercity as a whole, as we cover these projects in more detail. So as you can see, that there are a lot of moving parts in this ecosystem, but the number one takeaway that I want you to keep in mind is the fact that all these dApps and future dApps that will be added to the ecosystem will ultimately create and add more value to the Powercity community. That means more value added to you, more added value to me, and more value added to the stakers of the Watts token, and also to the Pulsechain community as a whole. So as I said earlier, they are working on three parts of the ecosystem, which are a work in progress, which they have termed phase one. And as I mentioned, they are working on the Powercity core, the Transformer Bridge, and Pixel Park. And in phase two will be the amplifier, the accelerator, and Flex. And basically Flex, I didn't cover Flex too much, but Flex is basically going to be a treasury pool where large amounts of HEX are staked across short to long-term durations that will create a monthly stream of yield, and that will be passed on to the Flex stakers. And one thing about the Flex tokens is that the token supply inflates every month, or basically more Flex are added every month based on the yield earned by the treasury. New Flex tokens can only be minted based on the new value contributed to the treasury. And it also says explicitly no other process can mint new Flex tokens. So that's the other part, is Flex. So one of the team members of Powercity, who goes by the name of the Long Vacation, gave a brief presentation on phase one projects, showing the user interface and the user functionality that I would like to share. And I'll share some snippets of the video here in just a second. But keep in mind that this project is a work in progress. Okay, so it's a work in progress. They're still working on it. Things can change from day to day, so we're not really for sure. But he in this video, in this snippet that I'm going to share with you, he shares with us the user interface and the user functionality of how it would work. So I want to give a shout out to Powercity, and you can find their YouTube channel here. Okay, and once you go to their YouTube channel, check them out, give them a like, subscribe, stay up to date. And now I want to present to you the snippets of video. Enjoy.
The core, and this is a sample of what the core will look like. So we have a dashboard. Now this is running in a test net right now, so none of these numbers make any sense, right? And just bear with us. This is all a work in progress, so anything here can change. All right. So this is all still being developed. There's a whole kind of workflow that goes into pulling this all together. So first, there's the contracts that have to be written. Then there's the front end that's designed, and then you connect the two, right? We're in the process of connecting the two right now, which means not all the buttons are going to work, not everything's functional, right? So we haven't gotten into all the testing yet. But you can see we have a platform here that I can walk through. So we have a swap function. So if I wanted to swap, say 100 Pulse for Watt tokens, I could do that. And if I were to then authenticate the transaction on MetaMask, if MetaMask wants to do its thing on testnet here, we confirm. And I can actually swap for the Watt tokens using the built-in automated market maker that's in the core. So you don't go to PulseX, you actually come to the core and you would be able to buy those Watt tokens. So now I have those.
And just so everybody knows, those little dialog boxes at the bottom show that the MetaMask transaction did go through. But when you're dealing with these screens, that pop-up doesn't always come through unless you're sharing your full screen, not just the window. I've dealt with that on PulseX demos when I was transferring tokens and all that good stuff. So just so you guys know, that was a successful transaction.
Yes. So if I were to reverse that and go max, I already had some lot tokens, so that's it's kind of showing the full balance here that's already in the wallet. As far as staking functions, staking is like the whole purpose of the core, right? You buy your watt and then you stake it. Here you'll be able to stake that, and when you stake, it will basically lock your watt tokens up in the contract and automatically compound them every 20 hours. You then get a receipt token called amps, right? And that token sits in your wallet. But that means that you can move that stake to another wallet if you move the receipt token to another wallet, right? So if you want to gift someone staked watt, you could do that. If you want to transfer it between different wallets you have because you want to organize things, you can do that, right? And it's a wrapped stake token so that basically the number of units doesn't change, but the price changes to reflect the earnings that stake is receiving every 20 hours, right? So every rebase, that cost or that price is going up to reflect that your stake is growing in size the longer that it's remaining staked. And then when you want to unstake, there's what's called an exit queue, and that is just a kind of an orderly line to get through the exit door, right? So that you don't have everyone clamoring over each other. And it just determines, okay, X number of watt can be released or unlocked every block. And it's a variable amount based on how long it's a way of just preventing a run on the bank. Everyone can still get out of the system. It's just a way of allowing a cooldown period when you go to unstake. It also prevents gaming. Some people can try to take advantage of these types of systems if they didn't have a cooldown period. When you try to use like bonding functions and try to get discounts, so you like unstake and restake just in time to get the rebase rewards. And there were like all kinds of games that people were playing with Olympus and other similar forks. And this is designed to really try to discourage a lot of the negative behaviors. And really reward people who are staking long term.
Right.
Locking will be not available on day one, but it is something that we will have available once things get kind of up and running and stabilized. And that is time locking your stake for an additional boost to your staking rewards. So we're not going to get into that in detail here, but it's just that will be a function that will be available. And then, of course, we have a fun moon math calculator because come on, you got to have one of those, right?
So I love moon math calculators.
So yeah, I mean, this is a real site. I mean, we're playing around with it. We're starting to do some internal testing. There's still connecting the dots on everything. So it's not something that anybody can use right now in the test environment. But we are making real tangible progress. So we just wanted to share that with you guys.
Do you believe? Because I think this is true, that this is the first DApp of its kind that has been previewed on YouTube that would be native to the Pulsechain. Have you guys seen anything like this yet?
Yeah, I think there's a couple out there that have got
this far?
Sorry, native. So you mean not a fork? Sorry.
Right.
Yeah, that's a little different. Hey, LV, can you just quickly go over the calculator? I know we're not doing the staking, but just show the functionality of the calculator is quite cool. It reminds me of Hex, the Hex calculator with the days, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure if all the calculations are working just yet, but the idea would be you put in, how many amps you're going to work with. So it's like 10 units, and you'll pay out the current APY for X amount of days. If you hold it for some amount of time, here's what you could earn through the rebasing rewards, right? So the calculations aren't updating, but it will allow you to go through and kind of project, okay, if I were to stake for a month, here's what could theoretically potentially happen. If I stake for a year, here's what could happen, right?
I like that.
To Tortoise Johnny, in chat, you have not missed the sacrifice. The sacrifice is still ongoing, bud. So if you would like to sacrifice for this, it is still open.
You can go to sacrificenow.io and it'll give you all the details.
About this is a work in progress. But here you can see the UI that's being designed. It's not connected to the underlying code. The code for the bridge and the contracts are written. This is the UI design for for the bridge. So we can select our chains, we can select tokens, we can enter the amount of tokens and switch back and forth. But like I said, we haven't connected everything together, right? So this is a work in progress, but you can see similar design elements across the different platforms. So this is the transformer cross-chain swap. This is the Pixel Park site. So you can see we have some NFTs. This is a very small test net, so there's not a whole lot loaded on here yet. But if I go into an NFT, I can look at the details. We're going through the whole process for bidding and creating and minting and whatnot right now internally. So, again, very much a work in progress, but, real site, we do have things coming together, or as they say in the money pits, we have stairs.
Please stay tuned to my channel and subscribe for more great and exciting content. And if this has added value, then please click the like button and also leave a comment below and subscribe to my channel. I'll leave you with this quote by Tony Robbins. Your past doesn't equal your future, by Tony Robbins.